A family is spending their vacation on a yacht in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. The mother, Julia, jumps into the water for a swim. While relaxing, she starts to feel something strange. Since she can't see anything around her, she thinks it might just be her imagination. A few seconds later, she feels the same strange sensation again. Still, nothing is visible. This time, she panics and starts swimming toward the yacht. Suddenly, something grabs her leg, and she begins screaming loudly for help. Her daughter, Cassie, is wearing headphones and listening to music, so she can't hear anything. Her husband, Tom, and her son, Ben, are busy fishing. Julia tries to stay afloat, but water enters her mouth, making it difficult for her to scream. After some time, Tom realizes that he hasn't seen Julia for a while. He looks for her on the yacht and then spots his wife in danger. He calls the children, steers the yacht in her direction, and jumps into the water. He quickly reaches Julia, holds her, and swims back toward the yacht. The children pull both of them up. The family takes care of Julia. However, Julia convinces herself that it might have just been because of the waves. That night, everyone celebrates Ben's birthday together. Cassie receives a call from her boyfriend and takes her laptop outside. On the video call, her boyfriend shows her that huge black clouds have covered the city. The call glitches and freezes. Cassie goes to tell her family about it, but Tom says that the signal is probably weak because they are far from land. Just then, they all hear a sound. They go outside and see a group of whales passing by. Tom explains that whales usually follow the Earth's magnetic field, but when a storm comes, they get confused. Suddenly, the yacht shakes violently and Ben falls. Tom worries that the yacht might have been damaged, so he dives underwater to check. After some time, Tom comes back to the surface, but he has a large wound on his shoulder. Julia immediately stitches his injury. Tom explains that underwater, he felt as if something very large was behind him, but when he turned around, he got cut by the propeller. He says that whatever it was huge. Tom notices that the yacht has suffered significant damage, so they need to call for help. Julia repeatedly tries the radio. Cassie searches for a signal on her phone, but nothing works. Suddenly, Cassie sees a strange creature and screams, but it turns out to be Ben, who is just wearing a mask and joking. After a while, the yacht completely shuts down and gets stranded in the middle of the sea. Julia hears a voice on the radio, but the sound is so distorted that she can't understand anything. Tom tells the family that they only have 4 days worth of food and water left, and now they will have to wait for a fishing boat to pass by. Suddenly, something is detected on the radar, and the family hears a strange noise. They all run outside and are shocked to see many objects falling from the sky. Wherever these objects hit the ground, massive explosions occur. When one of them falls into the water near them, Tom immediately tries to start the yacht. The engine struggles but starts briefly. Then another object hits the area. The family clings to each other in fear. That's when Tom realizes that the fireballs falling from the sky are not meteors, but satellites. At the same time, Ben notices smoke coming out of the yacht. Tom checks and confirms that the engine is damaged. The wind starts blowing harder, so the family hides inside the yacht without noticing that the compass is spinning rapidly. The yacht begins to shake violently. Ben falls again and this time gets injured. Waves crash forcefully against the yacht. Tom struggles outside and brings life jackets. Suddenly, the power goes out. Tom immediately presses the button on the power box and the lights come back on. At that moment, Ben notices that Julia's nose is bleeding. Julia starts feeling dizzy, while Cassie goes to the sink and vomits. Tom keeps trying the radio, but there is still no signal. Suddenly, a loud, high-pitched noise fills the air, and the wind becomes even stronger. Julia tries to close the doors, but a hatch opens, and the wind starts smashing the windows. Tom lights a flare, and shortly after, darkness falls. The next morning, the family wakes up in shock, realizing that they survived the storm. But the yacht is half destroyed. When they go outside, they see that the seawater has disappeared, and the yacht is now stuck on land. They are all stunned by what they see. Cassie checks for a signal, but the network is completely down. Ben starts playing with 2 dead crabs. Tom checks the compass and sees that it has reversed. This last happened 700,000 years ago. Cassie believes that her boyfriend must be dead and completely breaks down. When Julia tries to comfort her, Cassie pushes her away and goes off to hide. Julia and Tom check the remaining supplies. Ben ties his birthday balloons to a rock, hoping that maybe some survivor will see them. Tom tries the radio again, and this time he connects with a man named Now, who is the captain of a submarine. His submarine is also stuck on land. Now confirms that the magnetic poles have reversed, which is why the ocean has receded and the land has submerged. He says that he hasn't seen any other survivors so far, and all communication systems are completely down. He also says that the poles will reverse again, and maybe within a week, the ocean will return. He warns the family to climb as high as possible, because when the water comes back, it will be extremely dangerous. He says that his partner died in the crash, and that the submarine only has space for 3 people. Julia and Tom beg him to please save their children. He gives them his coordinates. Tom calculates that it will take 2 to 3 days to reach the submarine. He tells the family to rest well tonight. Tomorrow morning, they will leave. The next morning, the family is packing their belongings. Suddenly, Tom notices something moving nearby. It is a limping man holding a harpoon, accompanied by a dog that keeps barking. Tom approaches him and gives him a bottle of water, but the man speaks in a language that Tom cannot understand. After drinking the water, the stranger suddenly smashes the bottle on Tom's head and kicks him hard in the face. Julia runs in fear, but it is already too late. The man plunges the harpoon into Tom's stomach. Tom writhes in pain for a few moments, and then the man slits his throat as well. He then chases after Julia and throws the harpoon at her, injuring her shoulder. Enduring the pain, Julia runs inside the yacht and tells the children to hide. She locks the door. Cassie and Ben crawl inside the sofa. Julia hands them a flare gun and hides in the bathroom with a knife. The man bangs violently on the door and eventually breaks in. First, he grabs some food, then starts searching around the yacht. He moves toward the bathroom, but Julia cleverly escapes through a small opening. The man assumes that Julia has run away, but just as she tries to sneak out quietly, his dog spots her and starts barking. The dog lunges at her, and Julia kills it with the knife. Hearing the dog scream, the man rushes out and becomes furious when he sees his dog's body. Meanwhile, Julia tries to re-enter the yacht from the other side. She climbs up and starts crawling inside through a broken window, but the man reaches there first. He grabs her and punches her hard, causing her to fall down. Julia tries to save herself by holding onto the furniture, but the man kicks her away. He steps on her wrist to make her drop the knife, then grabs her hair, slams her face to the ground, throws her onto the sofa, and starts choking her. The children witness everything. Cassie runs out and fires the flare gun, which hits the man directly. He catches fire and flames begin spreading across the yacht. The children immediately run away. But Julia comes back. She kicks him down, grabs the map in a bag, and escapes. Ben and Cassie run to their father and cry. Julia sits with them, and all 3 tearfully say their final goodbye to Tom. Suddenly, the terrifying man emerges from the yacht again, and the family starts running once more. Moments later, the yacht explodes in a massive blast. After walking some distance, they stop near a small waterfall to rest. Cassie thinks that maybe the crazy man came after them because he saw the balloons. Hearing this, Ben starts blaming himself. Julia explains that it wasn't his fault and tells everyone to keep moving because the man is still chasing them. Along the way, near a small pond, Ben is shocked to see a dead hammerhead shark. Just then, Julia notices that the man is getting close again. Everyone starts running and falls down from a sand dune where they see toxic waste. The family carefully crosses it and feels that they have finally escaped him. As they continue walking, they see large dead sea animals and all the plastic that had accumulated under the ocean. Ben starts walking slowly and Julia realizes that he is close to dehydration. She tells everyone to stop. When she checks the water bottle, she is shocked to see that almost all the water is gone. Cassie realizes that maybe she didn't close the bottle properly. Julia angrily shouts that the water is gone because of her carelessness. Cassie replies, "What difference does it make? We're not going to survive anyway." A long argument breaks out between the two. Still, the family keeps moving forward. After some time, they find a crashed plane. Seeing something moving inside, they all get scared, but it turns out to be just some birds. The family decides to spend the night inside the plane. They share a small snack, and Julia finds a family photo in Tom's jacket, which breaks her heart. Cassie asks, "Mom, what was your and Dad's love story?" Julia smiles and explains, "Tom was my patient at the hospital. Then one day, he expressed his love with flowers and a sweet poem." In the middle of the night, Cassie steps out of the plane. Suddenly, the terrifying man tries to grab her from behind, but Julia attacks him from behind and repeatedly stabs him with the knife, killing him. Cassie hugs her mother and calms her down. The next morning, maggots are crawling all over the man's corpse. The family notices many bite marks on his body, which means that some dangerous creature is hiding in this area. As they move away, crabs crawl out of his mouth. A few hours later, Julia and Cassie are looking at the map, but Ben slowly moves ahead. Julia shouts, "Stop!" but Ben bends down and starts drinking water from a pond. Julia immediately pulls him back and explains that unknown water can make him sick. As the sun becomes extremely harsh, the family covers their heads with clothes. Ben starts feeling dizzy. Soon, they find some old chairs, and Julia and Cassie use them to make a temporary shelter. Julia gives Ben an injection and decides that they will spend the night there. In the morning, Julia wakes up after hearing a strange sound. When she goes outside, she sees a huge swarm of crabs coming toward them. She immediately wakes the children, and all three start running. While running, they spot a large cargo ship. 3 crew members are alive there. One woman wants to help them, but the other 2 men refuse, and the 3 of them lock the container, leaving the family outside. The crabs get closer. Julia helps the children climb on top of the container. As she tries to climb up herself, the crabs bite her leg hard. The children pull her up just in time, or she would have fallen. Through a hole in the container, many crabs crawl inside. The crew members start firing, but the crabs overpower them and kill both men. The last man reaches the hole in the roof, but the crabs pull him down as well, and he also dies. Julia bandages her wound and passes out. After some time, when she wakes up, she finds herself alone in the middle of a sandstorm. Panicking, she starts searching for her children. She picks up a weapon from a dead woman and screams loudly. Hearing her voice, Cassie returns and tells her that she and Ben had gone to look for help but found no one. Then they reunite with Ben, who has found an open container where they can stay until the storm ends. Julia takes out Tom's lighter and cauterizes her wound, which is extremely painful. After the storm settles, they find another container filled with many water bottles. While checking the bodies, they also find a radio and a gun. Julia contacts the submarine and tells Now that the map has been lost. Now explains that they were attacked by arthropods, former sea creatures that have gone completely mad due to the oxygen. He urges the family to hurry because his instruments have calculated that the sea will return much earlier than expected, and they only have a few hours left. He fires a flare and the family starts walking in that direction. After a long walk, they find a broken toilet where Ben urinates. Soon, they finally see the submarine nearby. But to reach it, they must cross a large rocky path. As they move forward, the walls start shaking, rocks begin falling, and a terrifying rock slide occurs. Julia immediately pushes her children to the side and steps back herself so she won't be crushed. Now, a wall of rocks separates them. Julia tells the children to move forward without her, but Cassie refuses and insists that her mother should try to climb. After a lot of shouting and arguing, Julia promises that she will find them later. Reluctantly, Cassie pulls her brother along and moves ahead. The children climb the rocky path and run toward the submarine. When they reach it, they see Now lying outside, covered in blood. He explains that it's over for him and that now the children can take the submarine, thinking there will be an extra seat. Cassie immediately runs back to look for her mother. Meanwhile, Julia sees the crabs approaching and starts firing. She kills some of them, but the swarm is too large to fight alone. At that moment, Cassie appears on top of the wall and reaches out her hand. Despite her injured leg, Julia starts climbing quickly. With Cassie's help, she reaches the other side, and both of them run toward the submarine together. Ben is already standing there and opens fire to keep the crabs distracted until the family climbs up. As soon as the crabs reach the submarine's body, they begin eating it. Julia picks up the gun and keeps firing until the children get inside. When they are safe, Julia realizes the bullets are finished, throws the gun at the crabs, and goes inside with her children. The family locks the hatch tightly and watches the crabs surrounding the submarine through the window. At that moment, the sea returns. All 3 quickly sit in their seats, fasten their belts, and hold each other's hands. Powerful waves start violently tossing the submarine around. Julia begins seeing visions of the entire journey, and Cassie throws up. Soon, the high-pitched sound returns and the family loses consciousness. After some time, Julia and the children wake up and feel relieved to see that they are alive. They unlock the hatch and step outside, only to see that the waves have dropped the submarine into a destroyed city. This means there is now hope to survive and start a new life, and this is where the film ends.